everybody, how you doing? Welcome to another roundup. That's the 13th one in a row we've done, mate. Let's hope it's a lucky one.
What do you mean 13th in a row?
It's the 13th we've done in a row. Last year we missed out quite a few in that, but
All right, brilliant, mate.
13
Well,
weeks in a row.
to be fair, mate, you've probably missed about 11 of them now.
I think it's only 9 I've missed, so don't lie.
No, mate, 13's one of my lucky numbers, mate.
One of them? How many you got?
Any number's lucky.
How's your weekend been, my man?
I've been working all weekend because we had no game, mate. So I had to work it this weekend. So it was different, but it was. Listen, I was still on a high for Monday night, mate. So, but listen, it was good for the boys. I think the boys had a wee day out, so it was good for them to go out and enjoy themselves and a weekend off of football, should I say? But lots of good results and get big games to keep. You know, we can't switch off, PG. We've always got to keep an eye on what's going on in the teams and in the competitions.
I know, mate. I know. I felt a bit out of the loop because I was working yesterday, and as soon as I finished, I went straight to a party, and I felt a bit behind. I tried to watch some highlights today, but
you were also playing today in the testimonial.
David McCallum's testimonial, the 20-year physio at Co-winning, absolute legend, man. Done himself proud today. He even came on and scored a penalty, so he did.
Brilliant, mate. Superb for him.
Yeah, there was dubious circumstances. Chris Strain was running through. Keeper comes out, wins the ball perfectly. Strain goes down like he's been shot, gets the penalty. Davy comes on and scores.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Tucked it away.
It was a nice
Tucked it away. The best it is, man. I seen a list of the players, mate, and your claim to fame will be you were the worst player named on that whole fucking players list, mate.
No, I think that's the second worst player. My mate Lee Grant was the worst player.
Was he?
I think he was the worst player.
Cashy's not far behind you, right enough.
Oh, own Cashy, mate. Cashy, greeting and moaning. He took the ball in late on, took it in, it dropped in, and I've went to go and kind of side fit it and clear it out. And he's just stuck his leg in front of it. So I've just kicked him. I didn't mean it. Kicked him. And I was like, as soon as it hit him, before he even hit the ground, I was like, oh, sorry, Cashy. And then the game went on. And he got up and he's shouting, fuck's sake, BG, what's that all about? I was like, Cashy, calm down. It was an accident. And then he was pure moaning about it getting off the park.
I tell you what, he forgets that that Komodo, mate, we were sponsored him for his darts tapping me. I'm going to end up taking that right off his back and I'll throw darts about I'm the Komodo.
I said, that's the price you need to pay for PG and Dax sponsoring you. Get a pick every now and again. I did forget to give him his taps today, though. I was meant to give him them. So I need to send them to him.
Kicked him hard done, mate. I'll take it down to him if you want me to say it about him.
Right, let's get tore into it, man. We've got another week of cup action. I don't feel like the league games ever get played. It's all just cup action. And
just cup, mate.
So, in the Scottish Junior Cup, Arbroath Vicks 0, Hurlford 0, 5-4 to Hurlford in penalties. Talbot 3, Darvel 1, Bellshill 5, Maryhill 2, Blantyre 0, Troon 3, Craigmark 2, Kilburn 3, Cumnock 4, Thorneywood 1, Gartcairn 2, Livingston United 0, Glenafton 4, Stonyburn 1, Robroy 1, Arthley 3, Maple 1, Larkhall 1, 5-4 to Larkhall in penalties. Petershill 2, Carnoustie 3, Shots 2, Beath 2, 7-6 to Shots in penalties. Stonehaven 1, The Rock 4, Tayport 0, Glencairn 4. So we'll start on the big game of the weekend, Talbot and Darvel. What's the highlights today? And listen to Mick's interview. It looked like Threave flattered Darvel. First half, just after the highlights. Obviously, it's hard to gauge on the highlights, particularly when it's one club that's put on, because it can always be kind of slightly askewed. It looked like the Talbot the better the first half, but it was a pretty even affair. Penalty that wasn't a penalty for me. Then the two goalies both trying to see who could make the biggest mistake. And then second half, Talbot looked like they battered the life out of Darvel, which in fairness to Mick did say that they won at the races. It looked like it could have been 5 or 6 the way they went. And we spoke about it yesterday when the score came in. This is probably, for everybody, this is probably a good thing that happened, where Darvel have looked unstoppable, and maybe teams are going to Darvel and think, how are we going to beat them? They're just flying now, they're scoring. I think they've scored like 50 odd goals already this season. The Talbot doing that maybe makes teams go, well, Darvel can be beaten, and it could be a big confidence boost for Talbot, who have not had the best of starts to the season.
Aye, see, being honest with you, I think that people that are in the know and people that do their homework, people that know the players, and nobody could ever say Talbot on a good side. Do you know what I mean, man? I think that the players that they've still got are very good. Do you know what I mean? Very, very good players, and they're always going to be up there and thereabouts, and they're always come the business end of the season. They're going to be in cup finals, or they're going to be challenging for the league and that, because that is just what they do, and that's what they know what to do, and they're good at doing it. So I think even McNatt said it himself, it's never a club that anybody's ever ruled out. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, very good team, but great result for them. As you say, a bit unusual with goalies not making errors, because they two good goalkeepers that don't normally do it, and it was just maybe one of the days. But brilliant result for them. Great second half performance, and Mix came out, and it's good to hear. It's no excuses. He's just congratulating the team, the better team on the day, and Talbot again. Wow, win the cup with the light, man, especially with the Scottish Junior Cup. It's like, and I tell you what, they're probably going to take some stopping. There is a lot of good sides left in the competition, but they'll take a bit of stopping in it now. But great result for them, and they move on. And listen, there was whoever won that game, one of the big boys was going to go out, and Talbot went through, and Darvel are out the competition.
As well, the winner of that tie, obviously being Talbot now, are away to Cumnock. So that's about as big a game as you can get, Cumnock and Talbot. And I think it's maybe going to be a bit extra added to it, because Cumnock have actually got a good side now. It's no like, other than the odd victory for Cumnock, it's no like years gone by, the last 5, 10, 15 years, where the Talbot have pretty much just had their own way. This will be much more a contest, I think. But I also think that, see if Talbot can beat Cumnock, they're really looking in a position where it's hard to see who's going to stop them. I know you've still got decent sides in there. You've got Glenaftons, you've got Hurlfords, but it's hard to see where they're going to get stopped. But
Arthur get a good result.
Arthur did, we'll touch on the Arthur game, 3-1 against Rob Roy. Talking to Max of the day, because he was playing in that game as well. And he told me we were too nice. So I'll just I'll lay it in the line now. That's a shambles of a result. The fact that they're so poor at home.
Is that caused bad boy Max? He's running about getting himself sent off.
He's getting too involved.
Mate,
I'm getting sick of him. He's getting too involved with players. He had it with, was it Jordan Moore recently as well? Too involved with players. He's got to grow up. That's what he's got to do. He's got to grow up. But
listen, the emotions can get to you. I heard spoke to a couple of people, and it got a tad bit tasty, but what a result for Arthur. And I seen Palmer's interview as well, man. He's absolutely delighted with his boys and how they carried out their game plan and that, and that's a great result. And I tell you what, I think Rob Roy ended up with 2 men sent off as well, down to 9 men, and they play each other in the league next week, doing it halfway again, mate. So it'll be interesting. That
Cumbernauld again.
Oh, was it a Cumbernauld? Right.
That's what Max was saying is the day they've their away record's excellent. I think he said that they've not lost away from home yet, but their home record's not been good enough. So that's something that Arthur will be looking to maybe implement the same game plan, because I watched them a wee tiny bit of highlights, and it looked like they sat off and then just tried to hit them. And it obviously worked yesterday, but I'd imagine now that's happened next week. Rob Roy might have a wee change of tact.
The last few weeks, mate, Arthur have really kicked on, mate. The results of the last couple of weeks have been very good, mate. And Palmer seems to be getting a tune out the boys, and he seems to be getting a shape and a way of playing that the boys are taking to, mate. So they're doing really well, mate, and that's a great result for them.
Yep. Moving on to a wee bit of a shock. Shots beating Beath on penalties after 2 each. My mate in work, who is pals with Ali Martin, had texted me yesterday, and I think Shots were like 3-1. And he went, do you fancy Shots? And I was like, I don't. I says, I know Shots are a decent cup team, I says, but I don't fancy them to beat Beath. Beath are doing well now. Granted, if he'd put them on to beat them, he'd have lost his money anyway, but that was that's a really impressive result for Shots. It's been a mixed bag for them this year. I don't think it's been good enough in terms of the quality they've got. but then they go and get good results like that. You know what I mean? So it shows they're a good.
I think it's maybe a wee bit harsh because we sit and we praise and talk about how difficult that conference is, and I think that you look at the results, and I think it's a difficult league they're in, but they're doing really well in the cups or not. To be honest with you, short, it's not. I mean, John, they've beat Cumbernauld. I don't know if it was in the same competition or it was another one, but they've had a great result doing it. Cumbernauld beating them down there in the cup, and then they've beat Beaven, albeit it's went to penalties and a bit of a lottery, but the game finishing 2 each, it sounds like an exciting game. I think Big Paul McGeer's doing the business up there, big, strong centre forward. I think he's going the score sheet yesterday and that. And for the winning penalties, what a confidence boost in their way to go through. And people see that as a scalp because, as you say, they were 3-1 maybe with the bookies, and Beav have been doing well under Straney, and I think that's maybe a competition they could have looked at and realistically said, let's see how far we can go and let's go and see if we can have a really good go at it. So for Shots, but Shots have got a great result there, and delighted for John and his boys, and I think they picked up a couple of good results in the last couple of weeks as well. Shots, if they know.
Shots are sitting 9th in the league. They now played 8, won 4, lost 4, scored 14, conceded 13. So it does seem to be a very mixed bag for them. But see, to be honest, I'm looking at the league table now. They're sitting in 9th place. The Borough are sitting in 11th place. I didn't even realise how much they dropped. But they're sitting in 9th place. 5 points off Kilbride top of the league with a game in hand.
Mate, is that a confidence, mate? That confidence is an absolute thumper, mate. So it's no, but that's a great result in the cup for them, and that's even into the last 16 of the Scottish Cup, and then they'll be seeing how far that they can go with it. But it's great for the confidence, and it's a great result. It's great for their set of fans as well.
Aye, definitely. On Kilbride being top of that league, talking about it there, they had a 3-2 win away to Craigmark. Kilbride don't seem to. I know Craigmark are a good team, so I'm not saying that Kilbride should be battering them, even though they're a league below. But Kilbride don't seem to batter anybody, but they seem to have enough about them to go and get results. Craigmark, they're a good side. I mean, we've spoken about them at length. They're a good side, and I think they'll have a right good chance of coming up this year into that first division and strengthening it. But Tommy will be happy. Another win gets them into the next round. I think we're going to the last 16.
Last 16,
so that's it. It's a good one there.
That was another game where you looked at it and it goes one good side, and one good side's going to come out of that competition, hadn't they? You were sitting looking at that and going, you're going to lose a good side in that could have maybe flied under the radar. But I've spoke to Tommy, mate, and Kilbride as a club, mate, love that competition, mate. They absolutely love it. The fans love it as well. So I know how important that was to him, and it was to the club that they want to have a decent run in the Scottish Cup this year, and if they've ended up picking up a great result yesterday to take them into the last 16, and they'll be buzzing with that because it always gives them that last 16 to look forward to, and then listen, the draw opens up, man. You never know where you could end up. You know what I mean? Look at Yoker last year getting to the cup finals. Well done, tremendous today. That so a lot of clubs will be looking now. It's an opportunity for them to try and get far in the competition.
Definitely. Larkhall, special mention to them, beating a good Mabel side 5-4 in penalties. After losing last week, a top of the table clash. They've been we've spoke again. It's another team we've spoken about. We say the same stuff almost weekly on certain teams. They're having a really good season, and I didn't see it coming. I thought they'd have been a kind of mid-table team this year.
Yeah,
been very, very strong, and I think that they're doing a cracking job there. And that's a good win away from home because you know it's like we've spoken about before. Again, we spoke about going down to Mabel. I've never liked going there, even in the summer. It just seems like the pitch is hard, it's wet, it's bobbly, it's always difficult. It's a hard place to go, and they're a good side, so it's a good win for Larkhall.
Good win, mate. As you say, I think it's very difficult before the season starts to know what the players are like at every club and all that, but they seem to have went about their business well and recruited well, and they've got a good mix there, and it seems to be it's working. Do you know what I mean? Most weeks we seem to be talking about them winning games of football, and they're still in the Scottish Cup as well. So aye, times are good at Larkhall. Larkhall's a big club, so it's good to see them starting to build up again. And listen, the league form, man, they're not going to be a million miles away from challenging for that as well and looking to get promotion as well. So no, it's a good result for that. Good luck, Paul.
Just going to finish up with the draw for the last 16, which the games will be played on the 3rd of December. Bellshill are playing Kilburn, Carnoustie are playing Glenafton, Cumnock and the Talbot, Dundee East Craigie against the Rock, Gartcairn against Glencairn, Hurlford against Troon, Larkhall against Aberdeen East End, Shotts against Artley. And they're not being disrespectful to Aberdeen East End because I played against them years ago and they won the great. I think it was Aberdeen East End I played against with a port. We beat them like 6 or 7-1 or something like that. But that was quite a long time ago. Larkhall fancy that at home, a team for the north. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of the 16 left are West teams.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, mate. The West will dominate the Scottish Cup all the time now, just because some of the bigger clubs through the East and that are not there anymore. Do you know what I mean? When you had the likes of Linlithgow and Bonnyrigg Rose and all that. I mean, these clubs are there in it. But for me, one of the big results I know was Glencairn. What a result going 4-0 up, winning 4-0 up. Was it at Talbot and all, wasn't it?
Did you
Yeah,
see
I know
the highlights?
Talbot.
Did you see
No,
the
but I
highlights?
know. No, but I know Talbot only maybe
I
not
know.
forcefully once word, but when I was growing up and I started playing junior, man, Talbot are a massive name, and for them to go up there and do it, man, some result.
I think I might be wrong. I watched the highlights this morning. I'm sure it was 4-0 after about 35 minutes. And I think all 4 goals came for set pieces.
Just shows you how important they are, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they can rock, mate, quickly, because I know that Davey always says to me at times, you didn't mention the rock, so I'm mentioning
Talk
the
about them all the
Candy.
time.
I know, mate, I mention them all the time, but Candy got a great result, mate, and a trip up to Aberdeen way, mate, and I seen the Candy bus was booming again, mate. Full of dragon soup, full of mad dog, full of buckfast, and I don't know what Daw would have been drinking. He would have drank anything that was there.
Lighter fluid. My last trip up to Stonehaven, I got sent off.
Ah, well, standard, mate.
I know. Moving on to the Strathclyde Demolition Cup, Eglinton 3, Thorn 4, Renfrew 3, Fernart 0, St Caddock 6, Easterhouse 1, Whitlets 4, Drumchapel 0. Shock for me, Whitlets taking 4 after Drum. The Drum with 11 victories in the run. Whitlets not having the best of times, and then going to take 4 off them. It's a very
Was that in that Strathclyde demolition, was it?
So that's the thing. Actually, I was talking to Joe
That's the
Coleman.
one they won, wasn't it, to get
Aye.
to the big
So,
Scottish?
so that's the thing about that. Talking to Joe Coleman today, and that's what he was saying. Like, we're talking about teams being in the Scottish Cup, and we're talking about how good their run's been. And he's like, "Well, we can't be in the Scottish Cup next year." He says, "We're no licensed," and that was the cup that got us into it. So that's it. So even after having which has been, I think Edinburgh might be a bit too much for them, but what has been a phenomenal cup run, and that's it. It's gone next year. You can't do it again because they're out this competition. But it's a really impressive win.
Great result for Whitlets, but I tell you what, Whitlets, man, for how good a result that is, they would have wished that was a league game and all.
I know
But as you said, PG, quite rightly so, it could be their opposite, something that they're looking at and going, listen, that could be our ticket into the Scottish Cup next year. So, because they've got a great setup down there, damn part, and it's a good wee setup, good part in that, and I'm delighted for them for both being that, because they've had the best of league campaigns there the last few weeks. So for them, that's great for them, and it gives them something to look forward to.
Yep. Touching on the Thorn, since we got a slight wee dig at as well.
We get called out in that one, didn't we?
I know. The Thorn beating Eglinton 4-3, which is a result you'd expect. I actually think I'd expected maybe a couple of goals in it. So Eglinton's probably put up a good fight. But 4-3 to the Thorn, only fourth division team. I think they're the first fourth division team to make the semi-finals of this competition in the 2 years that it's been running. So
Many
congratulations
rounds
to
are in
them.
that competition. There's not that many, but is there?
Nah, I don't think so. It's kind of a League Cup type thing until with the lesser leagues almost. St Cadoc's a routine 6-1 win against Easterhouse. Ryan Thompson getting a hat-trick.
I seen that, and Ryan normally plays at centre half, so I don't know if he was playing centre half or he's been moved into midfield, because I know he can play in the middle of the park as well. So for Ryan to get a hat trick and all, it's good going.
It is. Renfrew, another one, a kind of routine result, beating Fanart 3-0. I'm not sure if the draw's been done for the semi-final yet, so I don't know.
Do you remember last year the league said that we were going to do the draw for one of the cups? Whatever happened to that?
I don't know. I mean, that's like when we attempted to sponsor a competition, even one that's not got a sponsor, and it just didn't happen.
Aye.
But that's how it is, these things.
No, but well done to the teams. Good on form, Division 4 representing in the semi-final. St Cadoc's, you expect them to do well. It's a very good result for them. And Renfrew, I think we've sang the praises loads of Jimmy and his team, and they're in a clean sheet and they've scored 3 goals. Defensively, they're very, very, very good this year as well. Renfrew, they seem to be keeping a lot of clean sheets in games. So, it's interesting, and that's some good teams in the semi. That'll be some good games.
You know, I'm going to say, if Jimmy Quigley is watching or listening to this, go and text me with what your win result is, because I remember you told me at the end of last season what it was, and it was ridiculously good. And I don't think he's lost this season yet, so tell me what it is, because it's got to be the best record.
Oh, listen, man. Listen,
I like stats and stuff.
We've praised Jimmy enough. Do you know what I
mean? Moving on to league action, only the one game in the first division. Bonnyton 0, Benburb 3. Benburb did well in the Scottish Cup. The league's been less than desirable for them, but they've started to pick up a couple of points. Sitting in 12th position, and now played 7, won 3, drawn 1, lost 3, scored 11, conceded 11. But like I said, when we were talking about shots, they've got 2 games in hand on Kilbride. So they win their 2 games in hand on Kilbride. They're sitting a point off the top of the league.
Yeah.
That's how tight that league is. There is all the way down to, I'd say, 13th, right? So there's 16 teams in the league, down to 13th, which is Glencairn, who have 2 games in hand as well. There is 8 points separating 1st and 13th, and you're over a quarter of the way through the season.
The Premier's a bumper, right? And all, but see that first division, man, it's class. And I tell you what, I don't think you can write off really any of the teams even feel like third, second, third bottom, because you just go and you have a wee run, then it can bring you right back into it, because everybody's beating everybody. Nobody's pulling away for it, so the points you're not a million miles away. If you can win 2 or even 2 or 3 games in the bounce, it can get you right back up there and in the mix. So that's a good result for the Bens, because Bonnyton have been playing well of late. They've kept clean sheets and that as well. I think the Lewis Lovren's on the score sheet and that, good player down there. But I think that's a solid result for them, especially bouncing back after the disappointment of getting out of the cup to Wick Academy the week before. Do you know what I mean? So it was important for them to get back down to like business, and they've done well, and they've kept that clean sheet, and that's good for them. And unfortunately, they've not got Dan Miller anymore, because he went somewhere else. But tell you what, they've still got some right good quality there.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good side. We'll move on to Division 2. Ardeer 3, Glasgow United 1, Forth 2, Ashfield 3, Perthshire 3, Wishaw 2, Greenock 1, Yoker 3, Kilsyth 3, Muirkirk 1, the Ants 3, Glasgow Uni 1. We'll start with Ashfield, mate. Absolutely flying now.
I know. Best thing they've done was get rid of that management team.
Honestly, it's been the best thing they could have done. Been the best thing. I think Mick's better looking than both of you and Maxie as well. So, you know what I mean? It's brought in a younger, more attractive, talented manager.
No. I'm not disputing the management ability, but I don't think looks wise him and Jamie Broadfoot are better looking than us. I'll not have that, mate, any day. I'll never take that one, mate. But doing really well, mate. Doing really, really well. And I'm buzzing for him, do you know what I mean? You need to remember, me and Max saying that were the ones that done interviews, so we wanted with
Ah,
the
you
best
picked
for
him.
the club. So we put, so listen, but they're not going to get carried away with it because it's a long season, but the club's doing really well. They're doing lots of great stuff on the park, and they've got some quality players in there that Mick's brought with them, and they've kept a couple of the good ones as well that we had, and it's brilliant to see, man. It's a club I'm always have a bit of special place in my heart, mate, and it's always one of the first results I look out for them and speak to Maxie and that all the time as well. And he's buzzing, he's delighted with it as well, and can't say much more. It's a good result. Force a tough place to go to, and it got nervy, I think, towards the end. But to win the game and get the 3 points is great, especially with Renfrew in cup action.
Well,
That's
that's the
him
thing.
in second.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Moved into second. Craig Mark have a game in hand. Mabel have a game in hand, but it's still they've only lost one game. I
See
think.
if they turned a couple of red draws into wins and
Aye,
all, they'd have been right up there with Renfrew.
there's still a lot of time to go.
They've got a cushion Renfrew where the other teams, don't they?
Aye, aye. But they've still got Renfrew to play at Saracen as well. After getting the draw with them at Western Park when they had a lot of players missing as well. So
Yeah.
it's a really good result.
Yeah.
Mentioned for Ardere beating Glasgow United, good result for Sean and the team, but it's really not going well for Glasgow United.
Oh.
It's hard to see where it's going to go for them because it really isn't improving. Even losing to like St Peters last week and stuff, and I champion St Peters all the time. Are a good side. They're a team that could easily hold their own in the third division, but it's not a result that they would have been looking for, and I think that Shuggle maybe not be the best pleased with how results are going at the moment, but hopefully
They'll know the management team will not be happy with how it's
no,
going, and they're a
they,
proud
they don't they don't pick if they're going to stay or no.
they're a proud club, mate, and their aspirations are definitely not to be doing the lower ends of the table. But I'm happy for Sean and Ardere because Sean, he doesn't tiptoe around the questions when he gets asked about it, and it's nice for him to get the 3 points. You know what I mean? Because it's been a wee while coming, and maybe that'll just kickstart them again. But listen, let's hope Glasgow United can turn the corner as well. But they're competitive. It's just that wee something in it. It's just missing
No.
for getting them points. But listen, they'll know. They'll just keep working hard at it and believe that they'll turn at some point, mate.
Yoka finally picking up some points. They've had a wee tough spell of late. That was a good win against Greenock. I know Greenock have not been doing too great the last few matches either, but they're a young side and would say this earlier on that this is probably what they'll do this season because they're such a young team. But I think Nixon's, see if he can keep that team together for the next couple of years, they will be a kind of top 4 or 5 team in that league. But Yoker will be really happy with that win.
Aye, mate. I think it's brilliant for Yoka. Great results. It was away. It was in Greenock, wasn't it?
Aye.
Tell you what, the part in Greenock's looking brilliant. I think the boys have that got that I think as well. Put a wee bit of investment into the park there, man. The surface looking good, man. It's as good as I've seen Greenock playing. And I spoke to a boy that refereed them down there last month, and he said that the part was really good. But I think that Greenock maybe just need a wee result just to get the confidence going again. But what they have shown is, and we've said it before, that they're capable of beating anybody on their day. Do you know what I mean? But they'll be wanting to get a wee result ASAP just to lift spirits. But Yoker to go there, down there, score 3 goals, come back with 3 points. Always a tough place to go to. So well done to Yoker.
Yep. Another win for Perthshire there, and a right rich vein of form just now, beating Wishaw 3-2. Wishaw really having an under par season. I predicted them to be one of the teams in the top 3, and that's not going to happen. They're just having a really poor season. They'd be disappointed because after the end of the season they had last year, really strong. And I genuinely thought they were going to be a kind of challenger. But Perthshire have been doing really well with late. They seem to just be picking up points. even if they're not winning, they're getting wee draws and all that, and they're just kind of ticking away nicely.
Mate, they're always a tough side in Kirky. Old Davy Kirkwood, man, Kirky boy, you feel as if he's been there forever, mate. You get a hat trick, not mean, brilliant to
Did
see the big man get a hat trick. Sometimes he plays centre half, and then sometimes he plays centre forward, mate. But I seen the big man get a hat trick at the weekend, mate. So well done to him too.
Yep. We will move on to Kilsyth. Good one for Kilsyth against Muirkirk. Muirkirk's season just not really kicking on. They get a result and then they lose a couple and get a result and lose a couple. But Kilsyth seem to be picking up a wee touch, which
Is that no Carl? Is that no the first result?
First one for Kello, aye. So that was a good one.
It's a good result after the back of that Kilsyth game last week, the Kilsyth Derby, do you know what I mean? So it was important for them to get 3 points on the board ASAP, and we're already low start, and it's disappointing to lose with the local bragging rights, but the most important thing for them is the league and probably a bit of stability this season in the league and making sure that they stay in it, and that's a good 3 points for them.
Aye, definitely. And to finish up, my former club, the Ants, another win. Really slow start, but they are flying now. They're the most informed team in the league, basically behind possibly Ashfield and Renfrew, maybe even no Ashfield.
3-1. They've done amazing into PG. How they've just picked themselves right up, mate. And their run of form's absolutely fantastic, man. You're looking at it, man. I'm like, they've just put it together, didn't they?
Aye. See what I like looking at this league table? There's nobody really in the league where you would say, like in the Premier League and in the first division, there's teams who have got a lot more resources and finances than everybody else. Renfrew maybe a wee touch more money without them being loaded, but everybody in that league, Mabel possibly fall into that category as well, but everybody in that league, financially, they're all not hugely dissimilar. Nobody's loaded with cash and able to throw hundreds of money at players, barring possibly one or two. And it's good to see quite an even league there, because it's a lot of good sides in that league and a lot of well-established teams who are kind of just plugging away and trying to get themselves promoted.
I totally agree. It's quite even, the resources that a lot of the teams in that league have got, and that's what makes it a good, interesting watch, because it's quite even, you know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, some of these teams have got right good players, you know what I mean? And that's the difference. If you can get one or two good players into the squad too, at quality wise, then it makes some difference.
Right, moving on to Division 3. Ardrossan 5, Port Glasgow 0, Girvan 0, Dalry 1, Irvine Vicks 3, Lanark 3, Kello 4, East Kilbride 5, Lesmahago 3, Carluke 0, Lugar 4, Newmains 0, Royal Albert 1, Vela Clyde 6, Vela Leven 0, Saltcoats 0. Ardrossan, informed team, 5 up at half time. Port, I didn't expect them to win. I feel like I kind of look at the Port results like a fan and I get a bit annoyed. And I'm like, because I know what Stevie's trying to do there, and I know they're trying to build it, and it's going to take time. I just wish they'd win more games, to be honest with you. But that's a top result for Ardrossan. And one of PG and Dax players, Liam McGuinness, getting himself on the score sheet and a 5-0 win. Very comfortable.
Well, he's a baller, mate. Imagine how good Ginto would have been in his early 20s, man.
Oh, mate, I played against him when he was probably in his mid-20s, and he was class.
Mate, unbelievable, mate. But anyway, on Ardrossan, mate, it's flying, mate. Scoring goals for fun, firepower. We keep going on about them every week. They seem to be getting that 5 mark. That's what they seem to be hitting regularly, and 5 goals. It'd be interesting to see how many times they score.
48 goals in 13 games.
You know what I mean? So they've nearly hit 50 goals already. You know what I mean? It's good going. So, but that's what happens when you sign quality. You know what I mean? And then they go out and they sign like Ryan Wilson and stuff. Wilson for St Cadocks, and then they've already got the good players that are already there, and you've got like wee Chrissy Craig. And that's when now what they're doing is they're keeping clean sheets, but they're scoring goals for fun. And even like last week, I think it was a tight affair, but they've won it 3-2. Do you know what I mean? So their goals are getting them points, and tell you what, they're really on form now, man.
Aye, definitely firing on all cylinders. Another couple of teams that are up there, Irvine Vicks 3 and Lanark 3. Lanark are 4 points. Lanark and Larkhill both 4 points. Afar Drawson with 2 games in hand. Vela Clyde are 5 points off with 3 games in hand. Irvine Vicks are 7 points with 4 games in hand. A 3 each draw there. That's 2 teams that are likely to be up there challenging at the end of the season. Obviously, without seeing it, and it's hard to tell, but it's a kind of game you'd expect to be tight. Both teams probably disappointed not to take the 3 points, but at the same time, no overly disappointed that they've come away with something.
Great game by the sounds of it. Do you know what I mean? It'd have been a brilliant game probably to take in that one. As you say, it's just two teams evenly matched, two teams gone really having a good season so far, and it's been a share of the spoils. So it's not the worst result in the world. Do you know what I mean? Nobody pulls away that wee bit more for the other teams, but both will be disappointed that they've not won it. But listen, it's entertaining stuff.
That is. Talking about entertaining stuff, Kello 4, Kilbride 5. Kello, who have been excellent this season, they're hitting a dip now. They're starting to drop some points after the remarkable season. I think because Martin McKenna had his 40th last night, he's not updated the Twitter page where you can normally see the form. I don't know what the form is, but I think Kello have lost 4 out of the last 5 or 6, which is obviously why they're starting to drop down the table a wee touch. But they're still in contention. But East Kilbride, Asa, has done quite a good job to start with. I think he's won 3 or 4, lost a couple, but it's an improvement on where they were. So that's a really good result for East Kilbride.
It's a great result. And they've won nine goal thriller. Do you know what I mean? They've managed to win it, and it's massive. It's a massive 3 points, really big 3 points. Scoring 5 goals, brilliant away from home, especially. But the thing that Asa will just be, listen, they played Darvel through the week and conceded 8. Do you know what I mean? But listen, we're talking about Darvel here. Darvel top side. They conceded four goals on Saturday, but they've won the game, and that's the most important thing. But if they just defensively get that sorted a wee bit better and improve on that, then they're scoring goals there. But that's a great result for them in the league form under Asa has been very good.
It has been. Moving on to another game, high scoring, but not great for Royal Albert. Vela Clyde 6, Royal Albert 1. I watched the highlights. It looked very convincing. Vela Clyde, really good side, to be honest. They score quite a lot of goals. They've got a good defensive record as well. Do you know something I noticed talking about their defensive record is when they lost the goal yesterday, big centre half went off his head. Like, no slotting people, but you saw he was raging that they'd lost a goal, and I love that in my defenders and goalkeeper. Absolutely raging that he's lost a goal. I think it was Kieran Chambers, is it? Chalmers? I forgot his second name. Scored a hat-trick yesterday as well. He looked really lively in the highlights. Just having a really good season so far.
It's one that you expected them to win, and they've obviously done it in style, scoring 6 goals, you know what I mean? But it's one I fully expected them to win because they're showing this season that they've got a good team and they can go and do that. But for 6 goals, it's impressive stuff. And if the boys get a hat-trick, I never got a chance to see that myself, but boys get a hat-trick, then well done to him, and his confidence will be sky high after the back of that.
Les Mahago finally getting a win after having a really sticky patch for them after a great start. They're keeping themselves kind of within range. A 3-0 win away to Carluke. A result again, a 3-0 win at home to Carluke. A result again that you'd expect, but nonetheless, you have to go and get a win. You keep a clean sheet, so it's a good 3 points for them.
Yeah, totally agree on that one, mate.
At the other end of the table, Lugar beating New Mains 4-0. New Mains had a couple of good results of late. Lugar losing to Solcoats, it wasn't looking great for them. That's a big win for them.
It's good for Lugar.
That takes them into 15th place, so they're sitting 5th bottom at the moment, which at the end of the season could be really important because we don't know how the relegation is going to work in that league. My thinking will be that more teams will go down in that league because they've got the 19-team league and Division 4 only has 12 teams. So my thinking maybe get more teams going down, but
I think five or something might go down in that, mate.
Well, I think 5 might go down and 1 will come up. which I still don't think is great, but I think 5 might go down and 1 will come up. And Vale leaving in Saltcoats 0-0. Saltcoats, after getting their win last week against Lugar, another clean sheet for them, which is hugely important. They've, speaking to Gunny, one of their coaches, I think he was kind of a wee bit disappointed they didn't get a win, but that's a big confidence boost for them. Two weeks in a row.
Is that two in a trot? Aye.
Two weeks in a row, clean sheets. And they've got new mains next week as well.
Well, mate, you don't want to be disrespectful and dismissing. I know that
the point I'm making is that's a game they're looking going. We've no lost a goal in 2 weeks against teams about us. We've only dropped 2 points. We're really looking to win that. You know,
100%, mate. But at the same time, New Mains will be looking and probably saying that we need to try and go and get a result in that game. But I'm delighted for Saltcoats because unfortunately they've had to be on the end of a couple of hard results, and for them 2 weeks in a row, 2 clean sheets, all the hard work seems to be paying off, and it's really good to see because you never want to see that happen to any club. So well done to them, and they've took 4 points in that as well. So they've taken 2 clean sheets, but 4 points. So it's definitely lots to build on.
Yep. To finish us off, Dorai beating Girvan 1-0. Girvan, the management team, obviously just trying to find their feet. It's not been a great season for them at all. I think, particularly yourself, predicting the day well. We expected better from this year. Dorai, I feel like they've kind of gone under the radar a wee bit, where I predict them to win the league, which I don't think they will. But I think they're a team who should be top 4 or 5 at least. They've got quality, and they're plugging away, but without being noticed too much. So I think that's another good win for them, and again, clean sheet for them.
Yeah.
We'll move on to Division 4. BSC 3, Kilsyth 5, Campbelltown 0, Harmony Row 0, Glenvale 1, St Peters 5, West Park 2, Threave 1. We'll obviously start with the biggest game. Second and third playing each other. West Park winning 2-1. We had said a few weeks back that we thought Threave would be the team to see it through, without overlooking the fact that Kilsyth are 9-9. West Park have only dropped points in 1 game. St Peters have only dropped points in 2 games. But that's if the figures are even anywhere near close to what have been reported with the money that Threave have been spending, they've lost to every team that's up there with them. That's them lost to West Park, they lost to Kilsyth, they lost to St Peters. That's quite worrying for them, losing 3 out of the last 4, I think it is. With what they've got at their disposal, I think they'll be really disappointed. And there's talk, because Glasgow Wellington are looking like they're going into the
South. I've seen that.
So people are moaning. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and that, having a go at Glasgow Wellington. And people are saying, oh, well, they're giving themselves a better chance of being able to possibly get into the Lowland League or into the playoffs for the Lowland League. Threave have moved to a division which they would be winning, and came into the 4th or the 5th tier of the West of Scotland League, and they can't beat the teams about them. I mean, they're granted they've scored 30 conceded 8, but they can't beat the teams about them, and that shows the disparity in quality between the South and the West. And to go slightly off kind of note and a bit of tangent, the South League should just be taken there by the East and West, in my opinion, and split them in whatever leagues are closest to them, because the fact that they get the same chance as your teams that are winning the East and the teams that are winning the West, when a club that are coming in to your setup, who are one of the best teams at, and are sitting 3rd, potentially if St Peters win their game in hand, they're sitting 4th in the 4th division. And it's just, I think that it's almost a bit of shambles that the South of Scotland retains Tier 6 status when our clubs are so far and away stronger than them. But well done to West Park. Great win for West Park.
No, I do get what you're saying, and I do think that the South quality is nowhere near what it is up in the West, but there's still good teams, and listen, that's just unfortunately the way it is. So they get that opportunity, and Threave have made the decision to come in, but that's an argument for a different day. But on that, it's interesting, and I think that Threave will be disappointed with that, because as you say, it seems to be, it's all right going and beating teams 5 and 6 when they're down the lower ends of the table, but the ones that win you the leagues is the games against the teams that are up there about you, and they don't seem to be winning them, and totally see that, but just shows you the quality that's in that league now. Do you know what I mean? Because last season it probably wasn't quite there, and it was easier to pick. It was Fanart and Kilsyth all the way, albeit you had Hamley Row having a decent run and you had St Peter's pushing a bit. But what a result for West Park. The Bryson boy getting man of the match. Big Bryson, I seen his big coupon on the internet, man, getting the man of the match. So, but what a result for them. 2-1. Great result for West Park. So very well done to them, and they're hitting a bit of form. And as I said at the start, I fully expected them to push Kilsyth for a way, but Kilsyth 9 out of 9 is tremendous, man.
Very good, isn't it? It's honestly, I mean,
doing brilliant.
Just like you've mentioned there, this league is. That's kind of bothered me the tweet we got with saying, "Oh, good." And it wasn't like a pure dig at us or anything. It was just a kind of get down and watch the Thorn, which is something I really intend on doing because they're quite local to myself. But we champion this league more than anybody else does, and we rave about this league. The quality is so much higher, like you said, this year than it has been, and I think that these clubs are really could be challenging in the next few years for the third division title and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're seeing a wee bit of split starting to appear now as well, with the top six and the bottom six. The Thorn are starting to get themselves together, picking up points. If they win their games in hand, they could be sitting in 4th or 5th place. BSC are still hanging in there. I think they will start to drop off a wee touch, but they're still hanging in there. It looks like, I think you'll have 5 teams: Kilsyth, West Park, Threave, St Peter's and a Thorn. That'll be your 5 who will be pushing. Probably Kilsyth will win it, just based off, well, I say that if West Park beat Kilsyth, then they're tied in points. But Kilsyth and West Park and Threaves and St Peter's are a 4 for me. I don't think St Peter's, with how young their team are, they'll have enough to see it through yet.
I think there's going to be twists and turns in it, PG, for me.
They've got to beat each other, haven't they? They've all got to beat each other.
I think that you can't expect to go through a full season undefeated, and I don't think Kilsyth will be doing that, thinking that they're going to do that anyway, but they're going to hit a wee spell where they're going to maybe struggle for form and that, and it's how they come at the end of that. But tell you what, we have spoken a lot about Division 4, and I think that's because the teams that were in it last year have got better, or they've worked hard and they've tried to get better on that and improve, and then the teams that they've added is really good and all, so it's much more to talk about and better spectacle.
The big Paisley derby, Glenvale 1, St Peter's 5. St Peter's have Glenvale on their mantle place. That is
Have they beaten them yet?
Nah, mate, they've not even got a draw at them. I think that's 5 in the spin now. Something like 4 or 5 in the spin that St Peter's have won. That was convincing yesterday, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. St Peter's are the team from Paisley. Glenvale really not having a great season at all. Only won 1 out of 8. Hamley Row picked up a point. I don't know why.
Clean sheet.
Clean sheet as well. Campbelltown.
Buzzing for Keith and the boys for a clean sheet, because I know that's been a problem area. Spoken about it before with the goalie situation and that. And so for them to keep a clean sheet, well done to Hamley Row.
Aye, definitely. It's a really good one. Really good point for them going to Campbelltown, because you know it's like it's a difficult place to go.
Yeah.
And just to touch on it to finish us up, Kilsyth again winning 9 the bounce, 5-3 against BSC, who BSC are probably going to be a wee bit of a sticky team for the top teams to play. But for we keep saying the same stuff. Bailey's 23-year-old, just turned 23. The fact that he clearly has the respect to the dressing room, has them playing good football, which I know they are, after beating Kilsyth 3-1 in the cup last week, which shows that they've got good quality. It's what a job he's doing, honestly. It's tremendous. And it's a league that I'm really excited about this year. But that'll do us for another week. I'm glad we said it about half an hour and that was 50 minutes. So it's we can't help but talk about it.
Because then, you know, the reason why what we'll need to start doing is just leaving games out, because people then come at us going, you never mentioned this, and then it means that every week. So unless the views keep staying good, man, we'll just cut it down a wee bit, mate.
I know. Right, so that is us. Got to be an interview lined up on Thursday, which will be out next Wednesday. one I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be quite a good one.
Aye.
No West of Scotland player, but a very, very good player. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it as well. No the player anyway, and we'll see what we can get out of him.
Aye. So thanks for watching as always.
No,
Remember, like
cheers.
the episode, subscribe to the channel. It does greatly help us out. And have a good week.
Yes, have a belter, troops. All the
See
best.
you later.